Hello. My name is Nicole Thomas, and today I'm going to show you 3 ways to make a handle. So let's jump right into it. The first way you can make a handle is you could use a loop tool to kind of cut or pull the handle from a solid block of clay. So this isn't a method that I normally use, but I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate it because it might be something that you would find useful. I have a really well wedged block of clay. I'm going to smooth this top because I know it's going to end up being one of my handle sides. Now I would normally want to use a circle loop tool to do this, but this is the only bigger loop tool that I had in my basement, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot with this. I push this down into the clay, getting a long smooth cut. Then I kind of have to push the clay open a little bit so I can get this piece out without damaging it. My clay is a little tacky, but there you have it. That is one way to make a handle. I would take this handle and I would smooth it with my sponge. Probably on all sides. And then I would pop it into a handle shape and I would put it off to the side and let it dry or set up a little bit before attaching it to my mug. The second way I would make a handle is I would start with a coil about 1 inch thick, and this coil is a little bit too big for one handle. I could probably make 2 or 3 handles out of this. I'm going to start with a piece just like that. I'm going to give it a few gentle rolls just to get it to that perfect size. And these first 2 methods are good if you don't really want to pull a handle, but you still want to have a handle for your piece. I'm going to give a few gentle taps on my one side. I'm going to rotate it, give a few gentle taps on the other side, and then I'm going to get my sponge in my hand. I'm going to put my fingers on either side of my sponge just like this and come in and start to mimic a pulling motion, but just do it with my sponge, making sure to really hit all the sides. I could roll it all the way over and just hit it on the back a little bit. I'm going to take this handle, I'm going to pop it into a handle shape. I'm going to put it over on the side and let it dry or set up before I put it on my piece. Now, just to clarify, when I say the word set up, I mean that the handle is dry enough that when you hold it in the air, it will hold its shape without needing to be held in place. So for example, right now, I'm holding this handle, but if I held it from the bottom, it's not really holding its shape. It's starting to crush under the weight of the pressure of the material. You want it to be dry enough that it holds its handle shape just like that. In my experience, I find that is the best way to handle attaching your handles so that they don't move around on you a lot as you secure them on your piece. The last way to make a handle is my personal favorite way to make a handle. It is pulling a handle. So I start with a coil about 1 inch thick. I'm going to trim this just a little bit. I'm going to get a bucket of water and I'm going to prepare to pull my handle. So I'm going to dig my fingertips into the top of my coil just a little bit. I'm going to plan to use the inside of my thumb to apply pressure and the outside of my pointer finger to apply pressure, using a motion that looks like a pinch and a pull down. So let's put that all together. I will dip my coil into the water, not letting my fingertips getting wet, dipping up to about there. And then I will take my hand and dip it in the same bucket of water, and I come in for a pinch and pull motion. I like to do about 3 pulls before I add a little more water. And then my favorite move is I do a full little twist there, and I pull on the opposite side of the handle, making sure that spaces where I naturally pull a little bit more become more balanced and more evened out by rotating the handle while I'm pulling on it. One of the last things I do is I come in and I hit the edges just a little bit. I don't want them to become sharp. And when you're focusing on adding pressure to the top and the bottom, sometimes your edge can get a little sharp. So I come back in for one more pull, just touching all my bases and my surfaces. I pop this coil into a handle and I lay it down on my bat or my canvas tabletop and I let it dry for a little bit. And normally I will pop this in my homemade damp box on top of a bat. I will let it dry overnight, and my favorite way to attach it to a mug is day 2, after it's been in the damp box, attaching it to a freshly trimmed mug. So if you stopped by today, thank you so much for being here. If you have a question, make sure to comment it in the comment box below, and I will make sure to comment back with an answer.